The Yellow Star with your Key Races and Bets podcast for Saturday, April 26th. This Key Races and Bets podcast is brought to you by Amwager.com, AMWAGER. Amwager.com is a great legal online wagering website for horse racing. Has some great betting tools and perks, and Amwager.com is legal for residents of most states and covers most tracks in North America as well as many around the world. Check it out. Amwager.com. You can also get the written version of this podcast, the Key Races and Bets blog, free at Amwager.com. Click on How to Bet and Yellow Star's blog. We're going to start with the Saturday, April 26th key race with the Woodhaven Stakes. This is race 6 at Aqueduct, which has now started turf racing for the year. And the post time is 3:50 Eastern. The win contenders are End of Romance and Revolutionaire. End of Romance won 2 of 3 races in Great Britain on turf and on all weather. Then took 5 months off, made his U.S. debut on March 22nd in the Rushaway Stakes on the undercard of the Jeff Ruby Stakes on that day at Turfway Park, where End of Romance closed well from last of 8 to get third at the end, and I think he was in need of a race after the layoff. I think End of Romance is going to be much more fit today, and the move to turf is of no concern, as he put in a very strong workout at trainer Graham Motion's Fair Hills Base 8 days ago, which was the second fast of 28 on the day for a half mile. End of Romance also adds blinkers, which I believe are designed to have him race a bit closer to the early stages than he was in the Rushaway when last of 8 after a quarter mile, so he should be closer and make the same run. Red Hot Manny Franco takes the call and has won 4 of 10 from Motion and Aqueduct over the past 16 months, going back to January 1st, 2024. So that's another factor in favor of End of Romance improving off his last effort to win. If the race should come off the grass and be run on dirt, he can still win, as his sire, although from Great Britain, has produced dirt route winners in North America. Revolutionaire, also imported from Europe, made his first USA start this year. He had run 6 times in his native France, winning once and finishing in the top 3 in 5 other races, missing the board only once in his career debut, which was last March. Revolutionaire has run exclusively on grass, including his U.S. debut last month, 3rd of 7 in the Columbia Stakes. Just like End of Romance, Revolutionaire rallied from last of 7 to get 3rd and should improve physically and mentally off the effort. So in the Woodhaven Stakes, race 6 at Aqueduct, Saturday the 26th, 3:50 Eastern, End of Romance and Revolutionaire both have minimum odds of 9 to 5 or more. If the race dawns on turf, I will bet the one at the highest odds above that minimum. If the race moves to dirt, I'm only interested in End of Romance because Revolutionaire has never run on the surface. And I would bet End of Romance at 3 to 2 or more. For the exacta, I would box End of Romance and Revolutionaire. Moving down to Florida for the Monroe Stakes, race 9 at Gulfstream, 5:09 Eastern. The win contenders are Life's Audible and Ozara. Contenders for exacta tickets are Dancing and Dixie, Breathaway. Life's Audible threw in clunkers in 2 of her last 5 races. The other 2 were A efforts good enough to win this race if repeated. Considering her pattern, starting 3 back, 9th, 1st, and 9th, and considering Pletcher edged her in the stakes, I think she could run back to win on that pattern. In March of last year, Life's Audible rallied from 6th among 8 and missed by a neck in the Grade 3 Here Comes the Bride Stakes after winning the Grade 3 Sweetest Chance Stakes, both on the Gulfstream grass. So her best race is good enough to win this non-graded stakes. Pletcher goes to Edgar Zayas for the first time. They're 12 for 48 together in the last 12 months, another good sign. Ozara is one of 2 from the Clement barn, the other being Breathaway. But Breathaway has finished 5th, 4th, and 3rd in the last 3, 2 of those at Gulfstream, and is having trouble finding winning form. While Ozara won on January 3rd on the grass following 9 months off, then faded to 6th after being up close in 3rd the early stages in the Honey Fox Stakes last month, her only start off the layoff. Ozara gets Jaramillo for the first time, who does very well when riding for Clement, and considering her record of 2 wins, 1 second, 1/3, and 5 turf races at Gulfstream, and the fact she drops in class from grade 3 to non-graded, Ozara has a nice shot to run as well as she did one before last when winning. Dancing and Dixie and Breathaway both have run good races on occasion and may complete the exacta tickets, which we'll talk about in a second. In the Monroe Stakes, race 9 at Gulfstream, 5:09 Eastern, Saturday, April 26th. Life's and Audible and Ozara should both be considered for win bets at odds of 9-5 or more. I wouldn't hesitate betting both if their odds are above that threshold. And if they both are, we get presented with an opportunity to wager on more than one horse, and we can gain a mathematical edge by using what's called a Dutching tool to prorate our wagers. There's a free Dutching tool at amateur.com. It's really easy to use. All you have to do is enter the total amount of money you want to bet to win and click two horses, and all the math is done for you. And that's just one of many perks and benefits for racing fans at amateur.com. For the exact, I want to play Life's and Audible and Ozara over Life's and Audible, Ozara, Dancing Dixie, and Breath Away. Moving across country now to Santa Anita for the Royal Heroine Stakes, race 7, post time 7 p.m. Eastern. The win contenders are Tirupati, Public Assembly, and Raw Ability. For exactas, in the second position, I want to consider Handwood Flyer and Lunar Impact. Now, we'll talk about Handwood Flyer first, even though she's going to be second in exactas is the way to play her. She's absolutely need the lead type who will have to run very fast to get to the front and save ground from an outside post from the start. Sneakers in the race who gets inside post has been first or second after a half mile in her last 9 races. With those two going at it, Tirupati should get a dream trip, sitting in third in the early stages, just off the pace setters where she likes to be, as she was when second in the early stages of the Buena Vista Stakes on March 1, when the leader ran the opening half in 45.2 seconds, similar to what I expect Handwood Flyer and Sneaker running here. In that race, Tirupati made up 7 lengths over a quarter mile, making the lead with an 1/8 of a mile to run, just beaten ahead on the wire, earning a very strong 107 echo-based speed figure, the highest in the field. Tirupati followed that up with a wire-to-wire win in the Wilshire Stakes that this is the Royal Heroine last month under Umberto Rispoli, who was riding for the first time rides back. I think no other horse in the race wanted the lead, and that's why she had it. Since first trying grass last summer, Tirupati has won 3 of 7, finishing no worse than third just once, and that was in a Grade 1 race. And in her current form, with the pace center in her favor, Tirupati could win her second grade stakes in a row. Public Assembly started a career with the top bar and Chad Brown, winning in his third career start, second off a layoff last September. Following a second-place finish last October, she was privately purchased by her new owners and sent to top trainer Phil D'Amato in California. Even after 5 months off, when Public Assembly returned to the races, she picked up where she left off in the fall with a visually impressive rally from fourth to draw off and win. She earned a career-best 100 echo-based speed figure in the effort, an effort she can improve upon second off the layoff, and more importantly, on the cutback from 1.25 miles to a mile, which sharpens her late kick. Entering the race with a 5 furlong workout, best of 51 on the day, Public Assembly is sending all the right signals for an A effort. Raw Ability is well named as she's undefeated in 3 races. She won an Ireland last June in a 14-horse field that was imported to the U.S. and 2 for 2 since joining the John Sadler barn. After 3 months off, she won at Del Mar in September, rallying impressively, running the last quarter in a very strong 22.3 seconds. After another 6 months off, she returned on March 17th, this time pressed the pace in second through a snail-like early pace, running the last quarter in 22.4, very fast. Her speed figures overall, based on final times, of 94, and 90 in the 3 races to date, are well short of the 100 Public Assembly earned winning last month of 99 and 100 earned by Tirupati in her last 2 races. But considering how big of a late kick Raw Ability has, and it might not matter if the pace is really hot, and even stalkers like Tirupati and Public Assembly might be susceptible to being run down near the wire by Raw Ability. It's possible Handwood Flyer could stick around for second after setting the early pace, so we'll play her in that position on some exacta tickets. Also, Lunar Impact ran a race nearly a year ago today on the Santa Anita turf, good enough to win if repeated, and fade into 5th after running second from the start last July. Then it's been off since. If it weren't for the fact that Lunar Impact is coming back from such a long layoff, she might be one of the top contenders. Just the same, because she's 2 for 3 at the mile on turf and opens at 20-1, I'll use her for some exacta tickets. So in the Royal Heroine Stakes, race 7, Santa Anita, 7 Eastern on April 26th, Tirupati, go look at her first 8-5 fair odds for a win bet, possibly a low odds overlay win bet. Public Assembly, 5-2 or more. Raw Ability, 7-2. If 2 of the 3 are above minimums, we'll use that Dutch tool at Amway we talked about to help us get the best edge. For exactas, one's going to be a box of Tirupati, Public Assembly, and Raw Ability. And the second is going to be Tirupati, Public Assembly, and Raw Ability over Tirupati, Public Assembly, Raw Ability, adding Hamwood Flyer and Lunar Impact in second, both with shots at prices. Thanks so much for listening to this week's Key Races and Bets podcast. Don't forget you can get the written version of this podcast, the Key Races and Bets blog, free at amwager.com, AMWAGER. If you're not a member, look around. You'll be happy you did. You can sign up. It's legal for residents of most states and covers most tracks in North America, as well as many around the world. It's a great betting site. I hope you'll check it out. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.